Hello and welcome everybody to Playday number 2 of the MishMash Gaming League for Rainbow Six Siege. My name is Neil Balber, followed by my co-host here, Bubba Fabes. How are we doing today, Bubba?
We are doing fantastic, and we're super excited for today. We got 3 exciting games ahead of us.
Yeah, we do. We have our first game of Aviate versus OverLoad. We've just started the ban phase now. Team Aviate, I've seen them play before. Pretty familiar with the team. They did fairly well in their last game, but the roster seems to be the same as last time. But we're going to have Aviate banning out the Montaigne on board, being our first map as well. Montaigne is a pretty standard pick for this, especially for the upstairs armory area. Just stops any of those quick pushes. It really denies any real rush strategy, especially with the Montaigne, because you can just get the Montaigne in there, be prone with how small the armory is. He can be a make or break operator in some instances. So, and then we also have OverLoad banning the Finca as well. So that's an interesting one. You don't see too many Finca bans, do we?
Yeah, I wasn't expecting Finca to be banned. I guess that might be a counter to a possible rush tactic that they're afraid of. Mira being the first defense ban. This one we were kind of expecting. A lot of people are going to be banning out Mira. The other ban that we're probably expecting is either going to be Valkyrie or it's going to be Echo. And it's going to be that information kind of gatherer. The one that's kind of dropped a little bit off the map was... Oh, we got Ella.
Oh, it's an interesting pick. So, I can see possibly why they're doing... her Grismots. Again, they have the rush denial with the Monty and the Finca ban, but they also have the rush, or like the counter rush strategy with having the Ella there. But I can't say Ella's a really impact player.
Ella's more of a fragging operator. So like the only reason I would pick Ella is if you knew someone on the other team was like in a serious Ella main, but as far as I know, these teams don't know each other to that degree. So
no, they could have scrimmed together. We're not too, but I do know in the first couple way back when I first watched Aviate and MMG and all them, Ella was actually a more picked or more banned operator. I think my first game I casted was just. They banned the Ella, and it was just an interesting pick nonetheless. But we're going to be starting at the typical spot of the upstairs armory. I can't say there's anything really different about this hold from looking at the composition with the Jaeger, the Bandit, the Valkyrie, Legion, and a Maestro. Typical spots to be pushing from are definitely that armory wall and over here in offices. So it's really down to the composition of the attacker squad. As you can see, we have a Nomad to prevent any runouts. This is actually a very heavy run out, or heavily run out on map. So the Nomad will really deny that. And with the Capital buff, it's really going to help them clear out back half wall and even potentially the offices over by that full wall, by that divider there. So it's going to be interesting to see where they push and where they want to.
Yeah, this is a highly the map itself is a lot of vertical destruction, a vertical gameplay, and that's going to come down with it, which is why they bring that buckle on. And one of the keys to attacking this top floor is you want to clear out that roamer that we have down underneath, which we have as the Valkyrie. And I'm also curious to where her Valk cameras went. You can see a nice outside one there that she can look over for that rappel. As we can see, they've already avoided that altogether, and we have iRage just watching that door for a possible run out.
Yeah, we have Steezy downstairs. He's just kind of preventing the Buck to get any entry to deny access to half wall. So her role is kind of critical. If she gets picked off too early, that allows the Buck to frag from below and actually completely negate this chart, the bandit tricking they have going on here. So she has a very important role, and hopefully she doesn't get picked off too soon and she can fulfill that. So looks like there was a successful bandit trick. Right now the attackers are going to try and clear out. This is where the Capital would be in handy, especially with those firebolt. if you can get a decent angle, they'll spread far enough where you can actually deny the bandit trick altogether. But it doesn't seem like they're going to be doing any of that. And then we have Jaeger over here in offices, just kind of keeping track of what's going on. And a minute's already passed and nothing's really happened. But as I say that, with that Thatcher, that's the basement clear. And like I mentioned, that could be very critical for the defenders here and opportunistic for the attackers to kind of jump on that.
Yeah, they finally get that wall open. 1 minute left. They still have a decent amount of time. You can see the Thatcher charge is already taking care of some of the cameras. They do have that Jaeger charge going right there. A second kill goes onto the board from ML onto Rage. Just going to clear off that Valk. Valk was already dead. Rival with the second kill onto MX, slowly picking away at these attackers. The Buck's now off the board, so you still have your Thermite left for 2 seconds as he dies. Another kill, barely making his way out. With 30 seconds, 4v1, just clearing off that last defender as Bumble takes down Nebs.
Good as a defensive round. Started off pretty slow. The attackers struggled getting through. They weren't able to for the first stint, and the lack thereof of they didn't take advantage of once that defender left the basement or left the downstairs area. So by ventilation, there was no pressure on that, and that could have actually really helped them to get rid of those bandit charges and get rid of anybody by half wall or even by locker, right? So that would have been very crucial. So it's a great hold by the defense, but it's also a poor attack strategy, or at least lack thereof aggression on the attacker side.
Yeah, they definitely got hung up on that wall a little bit with that bandit tricking. Not a lot of people bandit trick as much. They did a good job, but again, the struggle that you come across is the vertical gameplay on this. When, as the attackers coming up to this and being like, oh, they're bandit tricking, they should have switched their first priority to clearing down that basement, the roamer down there. Because if you have a Buck just allowed to just roam around and open up that floor, that's actually the vital key to this attack. Because that takes out anyone behind half wall. That takes out anyone, even if you're not able to open up the fortified wall, that's going to clear off anyone just the hard right corner. And that makes it so much easier to walk into the facility. So that's got to be a little bit more of your priority to clear out that roamer so your Buck can do his job. Because without that Buck, as we can see right there, the attack just kind of fell apart.
Exactly. And especially with that Monty ban, right? That's Monty helped Buck clear out the basement there, or the ventilation area, and would have been easy peasy for him. But even then, you could have still brought a blitz or some sort of shield to that would benefit from it. But again, we're gonna have to wait and see of how they adapt here, because that was a pretty big stall out for the attackers. So again, going with the same composition, but this time bring IQ. That's good. Spot any Valkyrie cameras, which there won't be any because she's not on board, but that will help with any of the Legion mines. And even potentially the Vigil. They can keep track of Vigil if you're not familiar with how IQ's gadget works. She has a 20-meter radius on her wristband there, and she can see any the electronic gadgets, especially Vigils, especially when he activates it. So hopefully maybe we can see her kind of track him down, or at least get an idea of he might be located. But looks like they're re-droning out offices, clearing out any of these roamers, which upstairs. So they're going to try and triangulate their attack and do a little bit of a pinch on him, but we'll have to see how this goes.
Yeah, again, the key right here is, again, it's all about this vertical gameplay. So you want to be able to take control of that top floor as soon as possible. And we saw a lot of good drones going out. I think it was the smoke that was up there that they were kind of droning out, so they can just able to take control of the floor. And then once they have that, they're able to go top down, as we have 2 kills, one after another, onto the attackers. It looks like from underneath. A sneaky little kill hole, as we can see from Busa.
Busa getting ready to get anybody who comes through that door, but Steezy and Rival with another, able to take up the thermite, but just like that, Penguin and MX gets refrag, but Steezy again with onto the MXT. So now we're down to B1. Nice by the Vigil. It's just down to the Thatcher able to one, and he isn't able to do it. Penguin getting the trade onto MP, but to no avail, and another defense win.
That
was a better attack. That was definitely a better attack.
Definitely, like they kind of had everything set up. Then out of nowhere, I guess they weren't careful about some of the kill holes or even the rotations from the defenders. They worked on that top floor, but then boom, they let their guard down and they got some sneaky kill holes and a nice run out, and boom, attackers went down and another win for the defense.
Mm-hmm. No counterplay, so therefore the roamers were just left to roam. There was no punishment. With again, we saw Steezy, and then we also saw Rival just having free game upstairs, and they couldn't even get through the armory wall, and they were already getting picked off in CCTV and on just outside of armory wall. So again, a solid push. There was definitely good coordination to get there, but just there was just no way that they could have kept it together because there was just no flank watch. They weren't winning the gunfights. So we'll have to see what happens from here. But looks like we have a little bit of different composition. Pulse coming because it is a not CCTV, but we are going to be having
different metal detectors and stuff. So Pulse is going to be interesting. Again, that's a very dangerous character. You don't want to just be sitting around on the top floor with him roaming underneath you. They'll take quick work of that. Looks like their flash fortifications are just going up. They didn't bring any sort of another camera information up that way. Relying on that Pulse is going to give them all the information they need to figure out where the attackers are going to be coming from.
Yeah, the Pulse and the Legion are main intel gathered. Right.
The attackers themselves, again, they don't keep on bringing that Buck, the Thermite, and the Thatcher. That's going to be your key attackers for this, again, because the destructibility and the amount of fortified walls that you're going to have to go through. It's a lot harder to attack while avoiding those. This time, bringing the Ash instead. Last time, they quick picked it off onto... I don't remember who, but they avoided the Ash.
I was going to say, I think it was the Nomad goal.
Nomad, yes.
Yeah, it was Nomad onto the Ash. But so it looks like this way they're just trying to get a little bit more close quarters, go for the rush tactics, try and catch the defenders off guard because they're definitely going to be waiting in the wind right now, just seeing how they push. But we have the Jaeger downstairs over by construction and server area, which the Buck is probably going to clear out eventually, but right now they do have hatch open in CCTV, so that's a good sign. Ready to kind of take advantage of it, but Thermite having a bit of trouble with monitors. And with already a minute and a half gone, it seems to be a little bit slower of a push from the attackers. They're definitely on edge after those two quick victories from the defense. Ash opening up the door over here into the hallway, trying to get a quick pick and just misses the Jaeger, but also looks like the Kaid has been taking a bit of damage, so he's probably been in a little bit of a fight with Hyper here. So we'll have to see how the Thatcher can help the Thermite here. Try to get through this wall. They're going to be bandit tricking it, though. Seems like they're just trying to bait it out a little bit.
Yeah, we see the defenders kind of gave the attackers immediate control over the top. It was not contested. We saw them take quick run over that. They have to watch their backs again because they like to kind of come up those stairs. We just saw a near miss, but again, MX comes across and takes down Bumble as Rival counters himself with Happy Penguin.
Yeah, so good picks there. So that's your Bandit and the Thatcher off. So the no need to worry about the Bandit tricks gone, but if there is one still, don't have anybody to take it out, minus the Twitch. But with the way they've been setting up, I can't imagine the Twitch is going to have an easy time getting in. But Rival with another one onto iRage, so that's another one for the Jaeger. MLP just roaming around here in the boxes, but Nebs with another frag onto Rival. Down to a 3v3 now, but one from Bussaflex onto Nebs and Hyper Lucia again onto MLPY, so it's another refrag. Down to a 2v2. But the Buck's not able to get the shots onto the Legion, and it's Legion taking care of MXT, and the plant was going down, but not able to. But Hyper with a very nice shot onto it, but there's no time left. And that would have been a very, very close round. That was a solid attacked round. I will say I commend them for that. They're adapting. They're getting used to how these guys are playing. They're allowing access to the areas that they need to get to, but but the defenders are waiting for those late flanks. This time the attackers definitely punished them for it, but they just not stalled out, but they waited too long.
Their attack was too slow. The fact that they were given full control over the top floor should have sped their attack up. They should have been like, okay, the top floor is ours. Have whoever you are set up for any like counter roam or whatever. But then that Thermite Thatcher should have jumped outside way sooner than they actually did. They got the one hatch open. Their next job was obviously to open up that wall from the outside. And they didn't really get to that till near a minute left. So that should have been done much sooner once they found out that they have that top floor control.
Yeah, it's really down to a game of seconds in this in Rainbow Six. And unfortunately, it was just poor timing. That's all it was. Once they knew they had top floor, they should have just opened up hatch, opened up the main wall into, I believe, by prison, and therefore pushed in through there. But there was no way for them to know. There wasn't too much drone going on upstairs. They were more or less trying to figure out where they all were downstairs. So going back upstairs into Armory, again, the same composition as last time with the Valkyrie and the Legion and the Maestro. So nice to see that Maestro, even with that big nerf we got, is still getting some use. I believe that Alda is really keeping them alive right now with 80 rounds fire rate that it does. It's definitely a solid attacker to have on the board because you can just spray down angles, completely deny any or any hallway or any rotation in from the attackers.
Yeah, we got the IQ coming to the board now. This is definitely going to help them out, especially with all the Velt cams and the Legion mines. So as long as he stays alive long enough, they'll be able to kind of counter those a little bit better. So we have the same, again, defense composition. So we know that we have that roamer downstairs. So we'll see how well they'll be able to clear him out this time.
Rival going to be sitting upstairs in the open area, just kind of waiting for them to come into the 90 balcony. And Happy Penguins just trying to clear out this 90 hallway, just seeing if they can get access to, but they're going to notice that there's an Evil Eye, and no, they didn't spot the Jaeger though, so the Jaeger can still roam around in there, possibly cause some havoc later on.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they didn't see that Jaeger. Yep, out he jumps, and he is going to get the kill. 2 kills onto Nebs, but we have Happy Penguin, who is going to counter that with a kill of his own, but his damage is done. Thermite and your sledge.
What? At what cost? That's your heart breacher gone, and that's frag grenades gone. Lottie utility out the board. Jaeger, that's
proof. Don't do lazy droning. They didn't fully drone out that room, and they paid the price for it.
The Maestro getting spotted out here, but I don't believe they're in a spot to capitalize. Tez, jeez. YT, can't even say the name. He will get a nice C, but MXT with
coming down to about a minute 12. We still have the IQ on the board to kind of counter off some of those Grismont mines. It's going to make this push a little bit easier, but they are running out of time, and they're running out of the proper utility to make this push. They don't have that Thermite Thatcher anymore, so they're kind of going to be bottlenecked in on this attack.
Yep,
Defenders...
And YTZ just ready for the flank here.
Just holding their angles and just waiting. They're playing the patient game, which is what you got to do. Attacker's still not even repelled up on the side. He's going to make a peek, and Irage is going to take down YT, bring it up to a 2v2 with 40 seconds left. This is doable for the attackers. A little bit low on health and running low on time, so they will have to make a push. It's going to come down to a little bit of a gun battle since they don't have the utility advantage. We do have some smoke arrows and 1 fire arrow coming from Capitao still, so if he uses those properly, I'll have to capitalize on that, but they're able to get a bit in there, but with the lack thereof, they took their time with this push, but they're able to get the plant down. There's no denial here. Unbelievable.
There's no goo mines at the front door, and just like that, they can long arm Fuser, but they have to be watching, and nobody is.
That rotation going on just a little bit too late. He does make his way up top. It's going to be really hard for the defenders to come back to it. He gets a couple pre-fired shots onto him. Oh, Bumble really low on health and kind of stuck right there. He sees his feet. He's just sitting out in the open like that as he comes around the corner. They know where the last attacker is. This is their chance. I think one's going for the defuse. As Bumble tries to hold him off, he's going to go down 1v1. Some pre-fired shots. It looks like he's run out of time for the diffuser. Just a few seconds left, but with a second 7 defuse time, he knows he's out of time. And the attackers are going to come away with this one with a fantastic comeback on this round.
That's a 4.5. If I were to say one myself, that was the defenders had that in the bag with the amount of guys they had. Unless he tossed them all out, you had the full capability with the Bandit, with the MP7, great gun to hold down the angles, and again with the goo mines, you could completely denied any of that to happen, and the plant went down right under their nose, and the attackers were able to get into the positions that the defense were just not able to get. They did have a solid strat at the end, though. I don't know, defused while one, tried to at least distract but to no avail. Again,
too little, too late. Again, they kind of threw that defense away. They had it in the bag. I don't know how, because I think they had that door even. Did they have it fortified even? They should have refortified it up. But I don't know. For them to be able to sneak in there and then not hear the plants, it definitely kind of missed a chance on that. But they still have a lead going into it 3-1. So they have the advantage still from that round.
Yeah. So hopefully they can learn from that and have things locked down a little bit tighter. But going back to the top floor is because the round was a bit of a throw. We're going to have roughly the same composition. We're not going to have the Valkyrie, though, this time. We are going to have the Pulse. So, with that being said, they're probably going to have him run downstairs, covering the doorway that they did plant on over by offs. So, with the attackers, though, they're not going to change the composition. Why change what worked last time? But they got through by the skin of their teeth and a little bit of luck. So, let's see how they approach this one.
Yeah, I think they kind of realized that the IQ was kind of roaming around taking care of any of the Velt cams. So it was a smart switch to go to that Pulse. Still very, a powerful defender on this map and for this bomb site. It's just more of an active information role. The problem with your Velt cams, you throw them out, they get destroyed, that information's gone. Or if you throw them on the different side of the map, they're not really gathering you as much, useful information. So that Pulse, if you keep him alive, he's definitely going to help these defenders win this round.
Exactly, and also communication is key, right? So if you're going to run on that Pulse, properly communicate to your team where they are, and therefore they know exactly where to, pre-fire or even pre-place some C4s. So therefore they can help you out. So Pulse is just basically the mobile camera that can see through floors. So we're going to have Bubble here over in office doing the exact same thing as Rival was doing last round. So again, they're going to try and actively drone him out and see if they can get a little pick. But iRage is just going to stay on the white side. But Rival punishing Hyper on with that Jaeger. And MLPY just not able to hit the shots there on the Capital. Best opportunity, I feel.
The Thermite being off the board again, that's a fantastic pick to have on this map. That's going to take away any of these hard distractions, so it's going to force them to come in through many of these doorways. It's a lot harder. The defenders have a much better angles on the straight up doorways than they do some of the fortified walls.
Yeah, it's gonna funnel them open area there, and then just with the material holding that doorway, it's gonna make their life a living hell, to say the least. And as they all have to funnel through at least 3 very narrow doorways, it's gonna be very challenging. But Nebs, the frag on the Bumble, it's your Bandit right off the board there, and that's almost complete control of the open area, minus the Maestro. If they can take care of him, they have total control of Fountain and open area.
Now we can see Rival already making his way up. Neb's taking some pre-fired shots. He's able to get Rival off the map. That is a fantastic fragger that you just cleared out. 45 seconds left. You're still in a pretty good position now. You've got your angles cleared. You got your roamer taken care of. So now you just need to get your information together. Oh, no, YT is still underneath. If you're not careful, there's going to be some C4 coming up from underneath to take down these attackers. Them trying to push still. The same push here through the front door. ML taking down MX with a nice little headshot.
Just
down to 20 seconds. A second kill onto iRage.
Again with it, and if he can take out the gigantic fight, Nebs punishing him just like that. Flex able to get the double win with one with that SMG, just taking care of the business right now. And that was a very interesting attack. The attackers almost brought that back, but just that, like we said before, they were just funneling through their doorway. And it was just basically who can win the gunfights with that Alda on the board. awfully difficult, and with that ACOG as well, it was running into a losing battle.
Yeah, with your thermite gone, again, your options become very limited, and the defenders know that. And what they just basically held angles and waited for the attackers to push. And again, the attackers, that one door that through Fountain was their one option, and then their only other option was basically on the other side through the AC window. If they could get up on that van, which we saw, MLP was already kind of watching for that. It's dangerous. You're going to go up that ladder and just basically walk right into a scope. And again, your other only option is through that other balcony door, which they have another angle on. So you're kind of limited. Your only chance was to win those gunfights, and they did their best, but they just could not pull it together.
Nope, they were not able to, and just like that, we're going back downstairs into ventilation and server. So, what have we learned here? We've learned that... or at least the attackers have learned to get a little bit of distance. Maybe Thermite isn't the right operator to have on this map just yet. They're just going to switch him out for Habana, and they're going to bring back the Nomad cutoff potential. That seems to be a big needle in their side, therefore, because they're not properly droning anybody out. So might as well just take away the room for error and just have some air jabs do it.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, Habana, they know that they're going to go downstairs. Habana's kind of your better bet when you want to be able to open up more hatches, possibly. And that's kind of what they're going for right here. And you don't have to put yourself as exposed as that Thermite, because sometimes with the hatch, if you put an impact a little bit off, you can basically get an angle over top that hatch. So when your Thermite walks on top of it, you can just basically light them up from there. So Habana's a good choice for this bomb site.
Yes, I generally try and... just makes more sense with runouts and the distance, and at least have a little bit more coverage while you're trying to open some walls. And even then, while the X-Kairos are going off, if you're distracting them enough so they want to shoot the X-Kairos and not you, you can at least try and get a cheap hit, frag and take out anybody and punish them for that. But minutes already gone, and there hasn't been any really movement from the attackers pushing out anybody from upstairs. That Jaeger's just comfortably sitting in armory, and MLP just kind of chilling in offices. So, but they do seem to be closing the gap. They are pushing an area here, and see a gunfight in just a second. See what happens here. And the Twitch Neb's not hitting a shot, hitting him, downing him though, not able to finish it off. Hyper
saving his life,
saving the unsuspecting Twitch, and Nebs. Bubble. Like taken out, and then Nebs with another one. Nebs just going ham right now, and not watching his drop though.
Gets overconfident and goes for a drop.
Bubble taking him out though, punishing him for that, and just like that, we're down to a 4v2 though. This is the attackers pretty good, downing that, but that AUG of the Kaid able to take out the Habana, and still not an easy rope, but as I say that, MXT able to finish off the defenders, and very, very impressive push coming from the attackers on that round.
Yeah, they did a much better job. They droned out. They knew that the two defenders were upstairs. They went in for the push, and they were able to get both frags. Now, mind you, it was close. Rival nearly took off, was it ML, who got that first kill and then wasn't looking. He got his life saved. Someone behind him was able to drop Rival, save his life, as ML was going for that second kill that he saw drop down that hatch. As he was going for that, he got peeked by someone else and easily took him out. So that was just fortunate. Everyone's kind of going this way, and then he decided to drop down that hatch because he felt like God after that, and he was taken out quite easily at that point.
Yeah, he's getting a little bit confident at that point, but hey, when
blindly dropping hatch, high risk, high reward. It didn't work out for him.
Well, exactly. But good on Nebs for carrying the attackers into that win. I will say that was some good fragging on his part, and again, some good flank watch coming from the teammates around as well. So it looks like we're going to be going back upstairs. Yes, we're going back upstairs with a Echo coming back onto the board. So we're going to see a little bit more plant now, as long as he can stay alive and the defenders can keep him safe. We should see this yokai probably cause a little bit of havoc and cause a little bit of stress for the attackers. And as long as the Thermite doesn't get taken out, although they have switched sides, we can see Overload definitely probably have some different strategies attacking, and we're definitely going to see Aviate here have a few different strategies for defending.
Yeah, I can see, again, looking at the defense, the difference being the Echo coming instead of most like the Valkyrie, and then they bring the Smoke instead of the Mute. So they have a little bit more of an anti-plant defenders, so it's like letting the attackers come closer, and it's easier to hold them off. Rather, on the other side, what we saw was more of an aggressive approach. We had the Mutes to stop the information from coming out, and then we had like the Valkyrie switching off with the Pulse, again, to take down the attackers before they're able to set up a little bit sooner. So,
and with that as well, even if the Echo is taken out, you're gonna leave, invisible camera to give you some what's going on as long as it's in the right spot. So, Bussa just waiting here for the Thatcher to make it over, so he can open up this wall, and we're gonna have Thatcher
running underneath,
roaming around.
Where are you going?
Something. Yeah, we have the IQ under taking ADS, and also potentially even somebody who's on their phone. Rival taking off MST, he catches the defender sleeping. You don't do that every day, but what a shot by him. Nebs,
when you answer a call from your mom and it's what gets you killed.
Yeah, when Bay wants to hang out and playing Rainbow Six, sometimes it gets you killed. And Hyper catches Busa sleeping. And just like that, we're back to a 4v4 round, but things seem to be fairly even. Twitch is Bumble of watching the flank here and making sure he's not going to. Cooking a frag is YTZ, not able to get anybody there, but just spots the Maestro, not able to take advantage of it, but catches him on the back foot, and YTZ able to take out Penguin. Down to a 3v4, that is your Echo off the board, so that is a lot of plant now gone, and just like that, MLP taking out the Bandit of Hyper Lucia, and now they're going to go for a plant. So it's just like that. That's why you need this Echo on board. You can fully do it, but Rage is going to go for a nice little flank here, trying to catch some of the attackers off guard, but not able to hit the shots, and now that not able to capitalize him in TV, and just like that, the attackers are in a really odd position, but YTZ able to punish Rage and able to take him out, but Bubble's going to finish off Nebs, and that is an attacker round 4. Overload. And again, that could have gone another way, but with the punishment from the IQ of I believe it was Jaeger?
Yeah.
I can't remember who he punished.
Jaeger was the first to peek and killed the Thermite.
Well,
but then I think Bandit peeked after him and got killed, as we saw a little bit later.
Yeah, and Rival shooting, taking out...
Yeah, Rival was...
Yeah, taking out the Jaeger through. That was very impressive. You don't see that every day, so... But very solid push from the attackers. They knew exactly what... Push in from downstairs, take out any of the gadgets, kill, and push to top floor, take control of CCTV, and keep control of CCTV, even though the Jaeger made his way in there and was able to get a kill on the Thatcher, when it was just immediately fragged, and systematically taking out the defenders, and therefore they just pinched on the Maestro. Even the 81 rounds in a insane fire rate can't save you from angles. So,
yeah,
solid attack strat.
What gave the attackers the edge was there was no one roaming downstairs. Like, we saw IQ went in and just, pulled out her gadget, got herself a free kill. Buck had his way down there, and we saw him almost frag grenade through the floor. He mistimed it a bit, but it was basically right under. They just had free range down there, and it basically totally disrupted the defenders upstairs as we saw them slowly get picked apart. Because when you're worrying about being shot through the floor and trying to ward off an attack elsewhere, you kind of get distracted. There's only so much you can do. So I hope they learn from that and they're able to have a roamer downstairs to stop that from happening. Because again, the attack relies on having a nice Buck underneath. It makes the whole attack so much easier.
Mm-hmm. And then it's going to be interesting. They bring a Doc to the mix. I don't know why, though. I get that you maybe want another ACOG. Why not bring Rook? You get a little bit, you're helping your teammates out a little bit more. Unless he's sticking on site. But even then, with how Overload has been attacking, they attack fast and they attack hard, so there might not be time for you to take out your stim pistol. Unless, again, it depends on how they're going to utilize the Doc, but I can't see him having a lot of use here.
The Doc instead of the Rook would be because Doc has the barbed wire. Would be my guess.
That very well could be.
So we know that we do have a roamer downstairs. Right now we got iRage coming down through construction. I think he is kind of droned out. There's the drone right there, so they do know where he is. Out comes the pinch. He runs right into Rival's face and gets an easy pick.
Yeah, nice pick off. That's your Jaeger off the board. So that's your 416 carbine off the board. Very weapon, and you don't really have to worry about much of the roamers now, because that's going to kind of neutralize any thoughts of fragging or thoughts of roaming, because now they know, hey, they're definitely Jordan mixing out, and it's going to be difficult. So going to open up Armory Hallway, and the buck is going to be upstairs downstairs, and taking out any floors to get these defenders moving around a little bit. But that's a frag onto your Legion, so bye-bye Legion, only getting 2 or 3 lines out. And it's not really going to slow them down too much, especially with the IQ taking care of all of them down there. And the Doc caught off guard, and that's another 3 armor off the board. So just down to the Echo and the Maestro, still very doable with a 2v5, but the Diffuser is going down, and keeping the Echo at bay. Might be a little bit too late, and he's able to stop the plant. But just like that, they're going back up. So hopefully the attackers can get it down a little bit sooner than later. But Nebs with a nice frag onto that, and Nebs with another one onto Rival. So now we're down to a 2v3. Again, the Alda kind of causing these attackers to rethink of what they're doing. Going to take control of 90 hallway, not able to hit the shots onto YT. And, we stumbled with that. And the Buck going to chase down this Echo. It's just down to him. The plant does go down. Buck not able to... Buck not able to take out the Echo. Echo's splashing but
just disrespected him for missing his shots.
Yeah, that C8 can be tricky sometimes, but
yeah,
you gotta hit those shots or you get slapped. And Echo slapping him down, but with Thermite right there for the refrag. So
yeah,
6-2 for Overload. Match point. So right now, Aviate has their backs up against the wall, and they have to pull something out of their hat.
Oh, and they're still going for this Armory Lockers Archives. They got pretty beat the last 2 times. Like they know how to attack this map, and they're doing a good job. They're clearing out the bottom. They're walking around, and they're just pinching all the defenders. They better, the fact that they picked it again, they better have some serious defense altercation, switch it around to be able to finally win this attack, because if they keep playing the way they're doing, the exact same thing's going to happen.
Yep, it looks like we have a 6 pick from a Habana to a Thermite, and the 6 Doc, the Smoke. So the Smoke's going to be a good pick. Yeah, definitely a step in the right direction, but they should have done this 2 rounds ago. The Smoke is going to deny a lot of pushability, or a lot of the push from Armory side, and you can definitely do that from across, basically from office area, and not have to worry about any of the attackers trying to pick you off. And especially with the shotgun and the SMG-11, as long as you know what you're doing with them, you can actually be a force to be reckoned with. But I don't understand why they picked the Doc last round. You probably could have... I'm not saying you would have won if you picked the Smoke last round, but you definitely would have even potentially slowed them down enough for the defensive team to gather themselves enough to focus the push a little bit more. So we'll have to wait and see what they do.
Well, this is the 3rd time they're defending this top floor. They actually brought Smoke the first round, I think, that they lost. What's really different is the Valkyrie. I don't think they brought Valkyrie either 2 other rounds. So they'll have a little bit more extra information. They can see they're already kind of planning some kill holes to watch out for that Buck underneath. If they're able to kill him first, that's going to be helpful for them, because that's basically what's been destroying them lately, is Buck and IQ underneath, destroying their gadgets and killing the players.
Yep. It's just causing them to rotate and get right into the scopes of the the teammates that are just watching the angles, right? So, and there's going to be no bandit trick, which is odd. They do have the ability to do that. There's nobody on the board to stop them, but they're going to get the armor wall open, and just like that, with the minute gone, they have the armor open and full control of CCV. So things are going well. Overload, and see if they can capitalize on defenders being out of place. And they've droned out the Jaeger downstairs, and they're going to try and pick them off. But MLPY taking out the Bandit with the, and Bumble taking out Hydra. So we're down to a 3v5. Not looking good for the defenders already. But just like that, and MLPY take care of the MXT. So there's your Valkyrie off the board. And MLPY taking out the Maestro. And just like that, MLPY with an... Was that an ace? I believe
No,
that.
but...
No, that was a 4-piece. That was a 4-piece.
Yeah.
Nice 4K to finish off the round. And just like that, the defenders were not able to capitalize on anything the defenders or the attackers. So.
Yeah, when things don't work out, like twice in a row like that, you got to switch up your location. You can't keep kicking the dead horse, you know?
Yep, the overload was just, well, it was just overloading them with them.
Mm-hmm.
It was interesting. Rush strat, it was more a, let's clear everything out, make sure we know where we're going, get into position, and then rush. Yeah. So it was like a push, methodical push into the positions they needed to go to, and then they just executed. Able to win their gunfights, able to punish anybody going flank. Mm-hmm. And it just worked out every time. And like you said, Aviate kept banging their head against the wall. Let's do armory, let's do armory. And it wasn't working. The problem is they weren't adapting enough, bringing a different composition to completely off. So that was our game. Our next game should be coming up shortly. I'm going to guess time in between 5 to 10 minutes. So we're going to take a short intermission. We'll come back in 5 to 10 minutes once everybody's loaded up in the lobby, and we'll get this started. But thanks for watching game number 1, guys. We have 2 more, so stay tuned. Be back in a bit.
This is the emergency broadcast system. The CDC is advising that you stay in your homes. We show up. We show up in the party, flyer than everybody. We show up in the party, flyer than everybody.
We show up in the party, flyer than everybody. We show up in the party, flyer than everybody. We show up in the party, flyer than everybody. We show up in the party.
We show up in the party. We show up in the party.